Glad to have you join me on Housing Development this week. I am Flora Ani, your Housing Diva. Signing off today, we shall be discussing urbanization and the provision of affordable housing, plus the provision of basic infrastructure by the government, even as some Nigerians speak on the three most important infrastructure they need the government to provide. But before we begin, as usual, let's bring you up to speed on the happenings in the housing sector. I'll be right back.
The Federal Housing Authority says it has given its debtors 21 days to pay up amounts owed in full. Failure to comply will lead to the FHA publishing names of its debtors. It is disclosed that the debts being owed are cut across cadres of retired staff and the general public, which have been owed for many years, contrary to agreed repayment plans and initial terms of allocation. The FHA also disclosed that failure to pay will lead to publishing names of debtors in national newspapers and proceed to take all necessary steps to revoke the affected housing units, and which will be subsequently reallocated to interested members of the public. Lifestyle Asset Hub Limited, a real estate company with a leverage system, recently held a grand opening and launch of a branch of the estate at Guzape, Abuja. Speaking at the event, the CEO, Mr. Bioyoke, said the company started a unique revolution in Africa and described the company as a pan-African housing solution, stating that the company was providing an alternative to mortgage through its leverage system. He also went ahead to disclose the company's plans of working with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria so as to provide housing, especially for civil servants. Also in attendance, Senator Binos Dauda Yaro expressed delight and commended the company's efforts at delivering exactly what was envisioned. Mr. Wale Okunlola, a vision partner at Lifestyle Hub, described the event as an unprecedented move in the real estate sector.
Today's event is actually an epoch-making event because it is unprecedented in the history of real estate in Africa and arguably in the entire world. Because the model with which this package is being driven, nobody has done that.
The Nigeria Institute of Building FCT chapter recently held a 2-day FCT Builders Conference and annual general meeting alongside a dinner and award night with the theme Emerging Opportunities in Renewable Energy and Efficiency Sector in Nigeria. The dinner and award night featured the inauguration of incoming EXCO members of the FCT chapter of the Institute. The newly inaugurated chairman, Builder Omale Peter Ame, described his new office as a dream come true and said one of his new tasks would be to set up a builder's house for the chapter, as plans were already in motion. One of the awardees, Builder Alao Ayo Abdulrazak, FNIOB, said it was a fulfillment to be honored by the Institute for his service, even after years of leaving office.
It is part of the fulfillment of what I expect, because as a builder, I've gotten to the peak of my career in building. For my chapter to now recognize me after leaving office 10 years ago, I think it is a rare privilege.
Another recognized member, Olanike Ogosi, described it as an honor as any other person could have been called upon. The Housing Development Advocacy Network Nigeria Housing Awards, which is holding its 4th edition on the 3rd of December 2020, is sparking a healthy competition among the leading brands in Nigeria housing and construction industry. The event, which will take place at the prestigious International Conference Center Abuja, will be rewarding brands, personalities, and projects that have stood out in the year under review. According to the Executive Director, HDAN, Festus Adebayo, the Nigeria Housing Awards looks at key attributes like excellence, innovation, high standards, and affordability. The organizers have come up with appropriate and interesting categories like the Real Estate Company of the Year, Smart City Developer of the Year, Affordable Housing Developer of the Year, Sustainability Focused Developer of the Year, Most Innovative Real Estate Developer of the Year, Tourism and Hospitality Project of the Year, Mortgage Bank of the Year, Most Innovative Real Estate Developer of the Year, Fast Growing Real Estate Developer of the Year, among others. Already, among the leading contenders for these various categories are Eco Atlantic, Urban Shelter Limited, Cosgrove, Brains and Hammers Limited, Billard, Constrix, Sujimoto, Cytec International Estates, Landmark Africa Limited, AFP, Julius Berger, Revolution Plus, among others. Awards is here again, and this time bigger and better. The achievements of stakeholders, industry experts, housing giants, and distinguished CEOs will be celebrated. With over 35 categories, who deserves a special recognition for excellence? Some of the categories include the Special Recognition Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, Housing Friendly Governor of the Year, Sustainability Focused Estate Development Company of the Year, Smart City Estate Development Company of the Year, Tourism and Hospitality Project of the Year, President of Professional Body of the Year, Housing Personality of the Year, Affordable Housing Project of the Year, Mortgage Bank CEO of the Year, among others. Date is the 3rd of December at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Want to be a part? Then visit Nigeria Housing-Construction Awards.com for more information. Nigeria Housing Awards, celebrating excellence in the housing and construction industry.
I wish to appreciate especially again the convener of Abuja International Housing Show and owner of the popular housing television program, Barrister Festus Adebayo, for his contributions to housing development in Nigeria. I think housing is part of his life. Very soon we shall be calling you Mr. Housing. Yeah.
Those were the major news making rounds in the sector. For more housing news stories, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. As a result of urbanization and lack of economic opportunities in rural areas, many people move to the cities. They move to the cities that are already dealing with issues of overcrowding, infrastructure, and high cost of living. As population growth rises and urbanization continues, cities are faced with a number of challenges. With an increase in growth in population comes an increase in demand for housing. How do we tackle this? Take a listen.
Urbanization refers to the increasing number of people that live in urban areas. It predominantly results in the physical growth of urban areas, be it horizontal or vertical. Currently the 7th most populous country in the world, Nigeria is set to overtake the United States to become the 3rd most populous country in the world by 2050, according to a United Nations report. Naturally, with growth comes development. But is that the same for Nigeria? Prince Onibokun Abimbola, Principal Partner, Development Planning and Management Consultants Limited, said urbanization was an essential part of global growth, but for Nigeria, he described it as a work in progress.
A city is a center of hope for development. It's becoming a cause because sufficient plans are not being made to cushion, to make the city provide the job and joy of development.
With an increase in growth in population comes an increase in demand for housing. However, Prince Onibokun lamented on the current shortage in the provision of affordable housing for the people, stating that it would even be more of a problem in the future.
There are no sufficient provisions to provide houses for the people. The influx of people is not commensurate with rate of housing construction. So there is acute shortage of houses in the city. Shortage at all levels of demand, both at low, medium, and high income level. There is acute shortage of provision for houses and for infrastructure. And it is a big problem.
Preferring a solution, he said the cost of building materials has to be brought down, easy access to land, and a concept of cross-subsidy, whereby people can pay for houses gradually according to the level of their income.
First, we have to create access to building materials that is affordable. We have to bring down the cost of building materials. We want to reduce the problem of access to land. If you have land, in the villages you can quickly talk to people and get land and build, but in the city, the lands are regulated. So you have to create access to land, access to labor, access to building materials, then even the technology.
Speaking on how the provision of housing is relative in boosting the economy, he said the construction of a house alone is directly providing jobs for people.
One house feeds more than 20 families. The builder, the engineer, the bricklayer, the masons, the artisans, all of them they feed on one house. If the construction industry is booming, the economy will sprout. That's the first principle we must know, because a lot of people are involved. And when you build a house, cement, sand, water, all those elements are involved, and there's a bandwagon effect on the economy. So housing industry alone could create a turnaround on the economy.
My name is Andrew Chimponda, the Group Chief Executive and Managing Director of Shelter Afrique. I strongly endorse the housing program and housing show, and I think you should keep watching it. Thank you.
What you think, what you wish, what you dream, we can give you home, your office, anywhere.
At Urban Shelter Limited, we are committed to your satisfaction in terms of good housing construction, infrastructure, flexible payment plans, and that's not all. We uphold affordability, reliability, quality, and innovation. Urban Shelter, distinctive homes, prestigious offices.
Prince Oniboku Abimbola there speaking on urbanization and the provision of affordable housing. The program is housing development. Every government should protect, provide for, and invest in its people, and the provision of infrastructure is a basic necessity. What are the three most important infrastructure people desire in their environment? Let's find out on Voices on the Street.
First of all, like church, because there is where whatsoever we want, we can come for opinion for God to ask. Another thing is schools. Let us have a comfortable school, most likely like government schools, because all the government schools that are, they are no more functioning like that. So government should do something about it.
The important thing should be for my area. I'm living for Paduma here. We no get bank near to us. We want make government open new bank for us for Asokoro station near Paduma, our village, because may we get them very easier. We want government to build NEPA office for Paduma Asokoro. May we get them very easy.
First and foremost, the most important building that I would like government to embark upon in my state should be a kind of like a company, like a manufacturing company. It might be of any type. I think the banking system, the financial institute, most of them, their branches are short. They are not much. Like some area, if you go to some area, you can't access money. So I will equally advise the financial institute to embark on creating more branches so that it will reduce the stress of getting access to money.
The schools in my area and small children, they are just moving around, no good schools, no better things to do. Youth are just there. You hear a lot of crimes flying here and there. So many children that haven't gone back to school now, they are there. Some girls that they haven't gone back to school, they are there, they are hugging. Lack of nothing to do, the youth are just committing crimes anyhow. About the road network, like now, I used to see some government vehicles coming inside Kobe, the area I'm living, but I don't know how the road is, how they are looking at the road. So really, that road, there's a certain channel that the bridge almost cut off. If government will really help people and help the masses, they should go into all these places and check and help people and build them a very good school, very good hospitals and things like that. My 3 things that I want government to look into it in my new community: number 1, schools, road network and hospitals.
Hello, my name is Emil Kohn, and I'm the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure. Keep watching the Housing Development Program. It's a platform that shares information on housing for Nigerians, and is also a platform the government has used to be able to engage Nigerians. Kudos to the producers of this program.
The latest couple in town.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Oh, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Drinks?
No, we'll find, sir.
How was the moon experience?
It was quite an experience.
How about house?
We are renting at the moment, but we intend to save enough to own our own house, right?
Why not avoid all those Shylock landlords and own a house up front? With the average income and cost of building houses today in Nigeria, mortgage is the best option. No sweat. I tell you what, that was how I got my first house, and I've never regretted it.
To make good homes, and by implication, a good society, an individual is expected to have an abode from which to take off and return at the end of each day. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home. Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Providing adequate infrastructure such as clean sources of water, health and education facilities, markets and proper transport access is still a major task which is yet to be achieved in large part of developing countries. In order to provide such services to all, there is a need for effective approaches involving the users, local government institutions and private sectors in order to effectively plan, develop and maintain the required infrastructure. I'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Keep a date with Housing Development Program every week on AIT. Housing Development is the first and pioneer housing program in Nigeria and by extension Africa. It remains the authentic voice of the Nigerian housing and construction industry. Housing Development is the only credible and specialized platform for seasoned professionals in the build industry, where quality and credible players in the real estate sector meet to interact, showcase, and analyze government policies. It is no doubt that hundreds of thousands of prospective Nigerians who desire to own their personal properties have done so through the assistance of Housing Development Program in the last 10 years. If you are a stakeholder in the build industry, here is where you must be. We are authentic, credible, and supported by all the leading professionals in the build industry. Housing Development on AIT.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. The second Lateef Jakande annual lectures, which was both virtual and physical, was held recently in Lagos State, and it was well attended. Housing Development crew covered the event. Let's have a look.
The second annual Lateef Jakande Lecture on Housing, organized by the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, held on the 26th of November 2020, and featured architect Sam Odia, architect Femi Adewole, Debo Adejana, Professor Abimbola Windapu, and Professor Nuhu Mohammed as lead speakers and other stakeholders in the housing sector. architect Sam Odia, stated that Nigeria has the largest opportunity to cause a cataclysmic shift in the housing environment and needed to focus on expanding and supporting solutions rather than reinventing the wheel, causing more problems.
I just want to say that Nigeria sits on the largest opportunity that we have ever had as a nation to cause a cataclysmic shift in our housing environment. So we need to look for solutions that are already working on a small scale.
Mr. Femi Adewole, CEO Family Homes Funds, also said there was a need for the government to link and finance the demand and supply of housing, as most of the financing was done by the National Housing Fund, which he commended.
It's really an improved approach to linking the demand side of housing with the supply side. We recognize and celebrate the hard work that the Federal Mortgage Bank as the managers of the National Housing Fund are doing.
Meanwhile, the Redden President, Alhaji Aliyu Wamako, after stating the purpose of establishing the annual lecture, said housing development was an essential tool in healing the economy and called on the government to use housing to get out of the present recession.
Housing development is an important tool in resuscitating and healing the economy. It creates economic activities that generate massive employment while providing a cross-cutting effect on other sectors of the economy.
His predecessor, Reverend Savio Ogochukwu Chime, attributed his service to Redden as a result of Alhaji Jokondi's motivation and commended his unparalleled record in affordable housing delivery.
So whatever service I have rendered to Redden on the real estate sector, part of the credit should go to him for motivating some of us and letting us know that it is possible that at the end of the pain, there is a success.
The Lateef Jakande Housing Lecture is an annual event organized by Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian Housing Awards will hold tomorrow, the 3rd of December 2020. The award, which is set up to promote excellence in real estate sector, has more than 35 winners in the different award categories. It is time to recognize and celebrate the game changers in the sector. Now, here is a quick one from the organizers of Nigerian Housing Awards.
Nigerian Housing Awards is here again, and this time bigger and better. The achievements of stakeholders, industry experts, housing giants, and distinguished CEOs will be celebrated. With over 35 categories, who deserves a special recognition for excellence? Some of the categories include the Special Recognition Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, Housing Friendly Governor of the Year, Sustainability Focused Estate Development Company of the Year, Smart City Estate Development Company of the Year, Tourism and Hospitality Project of the Year, President of Professional Body of the Year, Housing Personality of the Year, Affordable Housing Project of the Year, Mortgage Bank CEO of the Year, among others. Date is the 3rd of December at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Want to be a part? Then visit nigeriahousing-constructionawards.com for more information. Nigeria Housing Awards, celebrating excellence in the housing and construction industry.
I'm Leilani Farha, the UN Special Rapporteur, and I hope you'll keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing Development Program, on Twitter, Housing Program, on Instagram @Housing Program. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Nigeria's construction sector contributes about 4% to Nigeria's GDP. It is a key employer of unskilled and semi-skilled workers, and for every job created directly in construction, another job is most likely generated due to its strong linkages with other sectors of the economy, such as manufacturing, transportation, banking, among others. Let's take advantage of this sector to boost the economy. On that note, I say thanks for watching Housing Development. I remain Flora Ani, your housing diva. God bless our dear country, Nigeria.